Hey everyone, welcome back to the step-by-step guide to surrogacy. Now the next couple of videos are going to be slightly different. You can tell this because I finally changed my shirt. What I have discovered since producing and creating these videos online is that there is a lot of interest in surrogacy. Not many people are talking about it. Certainly not many people are talking about it in the UK. So my videos have gained all sorts of attention. There has been camera crews around my house.
Right. And this is over your shoulder now. How am I going to
Which is why I'm being filmed at the moment by this lovely cameraman here. Now this is a very meta moment, isn't it?
I'm trying not to get myself in this. Lovely job. I guess the only other thought there is, do you want it straight down with this camera?
And she's interviewing me. And this guy's filming me.
Yes.
Hey mum, I'm famous.
Off of the TV, like and subscribe.
I've done local news.
And so Kevin started a YouTube channel for other people in his position.
I thought if I could do anything to kind of improve that situation down the road, then that's something I could do. I didn't expect the road to be quite so long.
I've done radio, I've done magazines, I've done newspapers, I have done local, national and even international news. Crazy, right? Just because we're talking about it. Now, one of the side effects from this conversation being had and me putting myself out there is that I am getting some feedback from anti-surrogacy people, which is quite negative. Now, that's fine. I can deal with it. It's one of the reasons why we won't put our daughter's face or name out there. Most of the negative feedback is due to misunderstandings or not knowing the process, or potentially hearing about horror stories overseas where surrogacy can be a bit iffy. I am all for regulating surrogacy. To be clear, there are places where it is bad, but let's not compare surrogacy overseas with surrogacy in the UK. So the next couple of videos are going to be talking about some of the things that have been said to me in the last few months since our daughter was born, and how you could potentially reply to it if someone says something similar to you. Everyone that we've met face to face has been lovely. It's the keyboard warriors and the internet trolls that will be the only people that you probably get anything from. All right, let's do number 10. You shouldn't be able to buy or sell a baby. You're taking part in the slave trade. Yep, that was one. Surrogacy is not about buying a baby. It is about an extraordinary act of generosity from a surrogate who is doing something wonderful to a family or a couple or a single person who cannot have a baby on their own. It is altruistic. They are not making money out of it. It is a wonderful thing for them to be doing freely and born out of love and born out of compassion. It's collaborative, it's altruistic, it's a wonderful thing. And quite frankly, if you'd seen me at 2 a.m. this morning getting a baby's shit out from under my fingernails, you would not think that she was my slave. Far from it. Number 9, surrogates are being exploited. Well, speak to our surrogate or any of the surrogates we know and tell them that, and you will hear exactly what they think of you. Surrogates are not being exploited. They are being generous and sweet. UK surrogacy prioritises a surrogate's well-being, financial status, physicality, health. There are safeguards in place. There are reputable agencies making sure that everyone is looked after properly. It makes sure surrogates are fully informed, well compensated, supported throughout the entire journey, and the surrogates are choosing this path voluntarily. When surrogacy is properly regulated through an agency, as you should always do, you will not find exploitation, and I would challenge you to ask a surrogate if she feels she is being exploited. Number 8, it's not even your own child. Yes, that's the other one you get through surrogacy. Well, Firstly, it's probably wrong because in most cases, one or both of the intended parents have provided the DNA concerned in making said child. So yes, they absolutely are. But even in the situation where that is not the case, blood doesn't make you family. Blood makes you related. Family is unconditional love, commitment, care and nurture. It's not always just ever. It's not just biology. It's all these other things. So even if, in the unlikely event that the child born through surrogacy does not have a genetic link to either parent, which is very rare, it doesn't matter anyway, because all of the unconditional love surrounding it is what makes you family. I believe. What do you believe? Number 7, surrogacy messes with God's plan. That could be one you hear. Now, I would not describe myself as religious, spiritual maybe. That being said, if God did have a plan and God was all powerful, then gays and surrogacy would be a part of that plan, right? And who are you to question him? Nevertheless, logic tends not to form a part of these conversations, so I would answer that kind of question with something more along the lines of, if science and compassion and love can come together to form a family, that should be a reflection on hope in the world and not considered some kind of disruption in nature. Whilst I know some who would consider themselves to be religious and are against the idea of surrogacy, or IVF for that matter, I know other people who are religious and, in my opinion, act more loving and have no problems with the idea of surrogacy whatsoever. God is love, after all, right? Or am I missing something? Comment number 6. We're at the halfway point at the hateful comments countdown if you are having a baby through surrogacy, and this one's a doozy. Why don't you just adopt? It's a fair question. It's a beautiful option and it's right for many people, but it's not necessarily right for all. There's lots of different paths to parenthood and to starting a family. Each one comes with its own emotional complexities. Surrogacy allows the intended parents to be there from the beginning, go through pregnancy, have a genetic link, for example, and adoption would not. Adoption comes with its own challenges, such as uncertain timelines, the heartbreak of a revoked child, the trauma of the child itself, which will continue into the future. That was one of the reasons that it didn't suit us, to be honest. We were worried about a child in 6-7 years' time being picked on at school, not just for having 2 dads, but also for having been adopted and abandoned. So we wanted to minimise that. You've also got the lack of genetic connection might be an issue, like passing on their genes. Newborn baby might be something that, especially a lady going through surrogacy, is really keen to experience. You've got failed matches. You've got the interrogation of prior relationship and your exes, which I hear is a thing, and that would be a doozy. And you've got all of the emotional drama that would surround that. Adoption is not for everyone. It is potentially more emotionally difficult. But choosing surrogacy does not diminish the value of adoption. It's just an entirely different legal and valid way of doing so. There is an argument that some might say all pregnancies through IVF are selfish. You could argue that IVF pregnancies have an element of selfishness within them. But I can guarantee that the children born through those means are going to be the most loved, the most wanted, the most cherished children. I can also tell you that it's probably only the gays that feel particularly guilty about going down the surrogacy route. And I also suspect that the vast majority of people telling you you should have adopted have probably got their own children born naturally, and the option for them would not have even occurred. Right, I think we're going to stop there. It's all getting terribly heavy. So halfway through our countdown of obnoxious and hateful comments that you might get if you go through surrogacy, like, follow and subscribe. I'm sure this is going to generate some feedback, so stick it below. If you're really nasty, I might delete the comment, but otherwise let's try and get a conversation started, shall we? See you next time, and we'll go through the final 5 obnoxious and hateful comments that you could get if you've had a baby through surrogacy. See you later.